Hi friends, it's time for story time with Mrs. J. I've got another story. It's called Giraffes Can't Dance. It's by Giles Andreed and Guy Parker Reese. We've got a few new words I want to introduce you today before I read. And the first word is clot. Now this word's not too hard to read, but we want to figure out what the meaning is. Clot. So I hear one syllable. And then if I break up the sounds, I hear k, o, ah, t. Well, that's 4 sound dots. Now, my last sound is really easy. It's t, letter T. The vowel sound is also easy. Ah, ah, that's letter O. Our first sound is k. Now, there are more than one way to write the k sound, but I know it's not CK because that only comes at the end of one syllable words. So I'm going to try either C or K alone. And this one, because it's in a blend, will be C and then the blend O. Clot. Now in this story, our character Gerald the giraffe feels like a clot, which means he doesn't feel very smart. He actually kind of feels stupid or thick. And that's not really a nice thing to think about yourself. Let's see if we can change that. Well, all the animals in the story go to a dance and they prance about in this dance. And that's another one-syllable word, prance. Now, the spelling of this is a little more tricky than clot. Let's break up our sounds. P, a, n, s. That's 5 sound dots. P, a, n, s. Let's match some sounds or letters to those sounds that we hear. First sound's pretty easy. P, that's letter P. Our vowel sound is P, a. I know that's letter A. The sound right after a is n, letter N. And then there's a beginning blend, letter R, n, s. Now, most of the time when we hear s, we write a letter S. But in this word, it's actually a special spelling of the sound. It's C-E. The E likes the C soft, and so we have prance. And prance means to move or walk around in a happy way. Another word we're going to hear in this is the word elegant. Now let's hear the syllable sounds we hear in elegant. Elegant. There's 3 syllables. Elegant. Now, we're going to be able to match these sounds to letters. L, our first syllable goes o. Now I have 2 sounds. O. First sound is written with letter E. The O sound is also pretty easy. We got L. Now if I go to my last syllable, I have gant. Elegant. G, a, n, t. Last sound, t. I can match that to the letter T. Elegant. That's letter G. Now this vowel sound, we kind of say lazy, but if I were to be speaking with a proper English accent, I would say gant. And I'd say the A sound, and that would be letter A. Then we have N. And our last syllable goes L, letter E. Elegant means that it's really fine or rich or refined. So a lot of these animals can dance really elegant. That means they dance very beautifully. And then the last word I want to introduce you to is entranced. Okay, this word has 2 syllables. Entranced. So let's go ahead and start breaking up those sounds to match the letters. N, first syllable, n. Ooh, that n sound is really easy to match the letter N. And that is also easy to match. Letter E is that short E sound. Entranced. T, a, n, s, t. What? That's a lot of sounds in a syllable. And I'm going to see if we can actually match those sounds to letters. So our vowel sound, t, a, that's letter A. Then we have a, n. Let's go to our first sound in tr, t, t, t. That's hard because it's a blend and we go tr, tr. That sound comes next with an R. Entrance. Ooh, that's another one of those sounds that has the s, but it's not written with an S. Actually written again with that CE, just like prance. But our last sound says entranced. But this also tricks us. That t sound is actually the ED, meaning it happened in the past. So we got entranced. And it's something, when we're entranced, it means to put us in a state of delight, or we're really excited, or we're charmed by what was happening. So as these animals dance, they probably are entranced by what they see and what they're doing. So let's go ahead and read our fun story, Giraffes Can't Dance, by Giles Andrade and Guy Parker Reese. Sorry. Here's our title page. Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andrade, illustrated by Guy Parker Reese. Look how beautiful these illustrations are. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. There's that word, they're going to walk and dance around. And this year when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rocked and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you are so weird. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought, I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Have you ever felt like Gerald? That maybe you couldn't do the same things others could do? It doesn't feel very good when people tease you or you feel like you can't do the same that everyone else does. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on, but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. He threw his arms out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful his mouth was open wide. I'm dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing, Gerald cried. He sure seems happy that now he realizes he can dance. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him, quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find the music that we love. I love this story because it talks about someone who maybe doesn't feel like they belong. But he realized that once he was able to find his own music or his own way of doing things, that he absolutely could dance and could do what the other animals did. I hope that you can find your talent just like Gerald did in this story. Thanks for reading with me. See you later.